Janet Vogel. I'm the Library Director here at the Hiram College Library. Today we're going to learn more about using the EbscoHost databases, and we'll use the Academic Search Complete database as our example. To start out with, you want to begin at the library's homepage, and that's library.hiram.edu. The homepage may change as the days go along, but of course there will always be an Articles and Databases section for you to visit. It may look a little bit different, but it will be here. We also have a drop-down menu, so right now we're going to use Academic Search Complete. I'll click Go and it will open in a new tab for me. Once we arrive on the page, you can see that we have a basic search box along with some limiters and some additional information here. We can start by limiting right away to scholarly and peer-reviewed journals or full text, but for now we're just going to do a basic search and dive right in. So as I'm typing, you can see that it is helping me by suggesting different words that I can use. However, just make note that if you're doing a very specific search, it can try to make your search even more specific, which might help you, but it might also really limit you. So just be aware of that. But if I wanted to select marketing, once I highlight that, it automatically does that search for me. You can see here that we have a result of 394,000 articles. That's way too many for us to look at all at once. So the way to limit is to start using the limiters over here on the left-hand side. If you can't see that menu, just click the arrows here to pop that in and out. Right away, I can limit to scholarly and peer-reviewed journals. As we know, those are journals that have been reviewed by scholars to make sure that they're accurate. So I'll click that box here and immediately limit our search results to about half of what we had before. I can also limit by date, and we can use the slider here. I'm going to type it in. If you're on your iPad, I do recommend that you type because the slider bar can be a little bit finicky. And again, it's automatically updating as we go. Still quite a few. What we might also want to do to limit is start thinking about keywords and additional subjects. That will be a different video. Let's talk a little bit more about limiting by source. So here, I could limit just to academic journals, so it's still pulling a few things like book reviews or books as well. I can also limit by geography, but I like to make you aware, right? You can see here that this one says that it's from the United States. This one is Brazil. This one here does not actually have any sort of geographical tag by country. It looks like it's got a city there. So you want to just be aware as you're doing these limits that sometimes you can limit too much and actually reduce your articles too far. So I'm sure there are actually more than 5,512 out of our 129,000 that are set in the United States or utilize the United States in some way. So just be aware as you're doing that. Here you can see this one does not have any sort of location tag as a good example. In addition, you can limit by language, so selecting the languages that you speak here, and you can utilize some of the other sections as well. Let's dive into an actual article to learn a little bit more about how the articles work. So here we can see this one is already showing us that it has PDF full text. This one does not. If I had selected full text here, this one would have been eliminated. But we leave it here just in case you might want to see it, and I'll show you how to access that as well. But for this one, if I want to learn more about the article, I click on the title. And from there, it's going to show me the authors, the subjects, so what the article is about, and it also gives me the abstract. So rather than having to read all 8 pages of the article, I can look at this paragraph and know in a flash what this article is about. In order to view the full text of the article, I select the PDF full text over here. It might also say HTML full text if it was an option for HTML as well. Sometimes it has both, sometimes just one. It all depends on the publisher. Once this loads, I can use the share button here to send it to Notability if I wanted to work with it there. Or I could also email it to myself or utilize any of the other resources to work with the document that I prefer. If the article was not available as a full text, I could click the Request this item through Interlibrary Loan button, fill in my information here at the top, and then EBSCO has automatically filled in the article information below. One warning, it can take between 48 hours and 2 weeks to get an interlibrary loan article. So you want to be sure that you're planning ahead if you are looking for something from interlibrary loan. Over on this side, we could save this article to our Google Drive. If you use the add to folder or the save here, that's actually just going to save it to your EBSCO session. Now, if you were signed in with a free EBSCO account, it would save it to your EBSCO account. But definitely if you don't have that, I warn you about using these options. Instead, if you want to make sure you can always get back to this article, click on permalink down here. It will pop up a permalink link that I can then copy and paste into a document. Always, always, always be sure that you're saving your permalinks as you go. That way you can come back to the article at any time. Additionally, as I'm saving my permalink, I could also save my citation. These citations were created by a machine, so you want to double check them before you turn them in. Don't just assume that they're correct. But here I can look at the APA. We've got Chicago style here. There's also MLA and a variety of other resources as well. So you can copy that and paste that into your document along with your permalink. Let's say that you had done a great job with your searching and had limited it down and you wanted to save all the different articles that you had. Clicking here on the share will allow you to get a permanent link to your search so you can copy and paste that same sort of thing. And you can see it starts with this login.hc, etc. That's what it utilizes to log you in to make sure that you are a Hiram student and you have access to these resources. This is why you always want to start at the library's homepage whenever you're doing research, because it then knows that you are associated with Hiram and are able to access these resources. So this link would work for you whether you're on campus or off campus. You will on occasion see, as I said, here HTML full text and PDF full text. And sometimes, I'm not seeing one here today, there it is. You will sometimes see something that says full text via Ohio Link EJC. So if you were to click on that, it would take you out to that article here in the Electronic Journal Center that we have access to as Ohio Link members. Instead of getting the permalink in the same way, you could get it right here. And then they do also have citation options there. And here is the PDF full text. I can work with that in the same way that I did before, where I would send it to Notability using the button here. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to the library. Our email address is library@hiram.edu. Thank you.